All right, y'all. We're about to start. Good morning. Good morning. Level up. All right. My music is started on KBLA. Good morning to some of you, and good afternoon to the rest of you that are on the East Coast. Everyone, I want to welcome you to Ahead of the Crypto Curve on this phenomenal Sunday morning in our new time slot at 11 a.m. I am your host, Najah Roberts, and it is my mission in life to lead my people out of financial slavery on what would be this virtual underground railroad. I don't just do this show to change the way you think about money, but to make you change the way you look at money and everything else around you because it absolutely matters. Today is Sunday, November 12th. 2023, and what an incredible day it is today. We want to say happy birthday to a couple of cryptopians whose birthday just happened to be today. We have Sandra Wilcox of Fitzgerald, Georgia, and we have Everlina Flowers of Catersville, Georgia. To both of you, I hope your day today is filled with all the love, joy, happiness, peace, and understanding you deserve on this day. And I had to find a quote for today. It's not a cryptocurrency quote, it's not a money quote. It's actually a quote about war. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the thick of some things today, and we're going to talk about some of the things that I have been sharing with you over the last couple of years. And I'm hoping that things are starting to sink in. But I found this quote that was kind of made me laugh because I was one of those people in school, even in college, even graduating from college, that wasn't particularly liking public political science, not public science, political science, and geography, and just a whole lot of other things. And I saw this quote today, and I just thought it tickled me. And because it's actually raining true, a lot of people that we're talking to and listening to and watching don't know geography at all. And so history, as I study history and just really understanding things and understanding what's happening with this war, like for real, is really, really interesting. But Mark Twain said, God created war so that Americans would learn geography. And that really tickled me. And I just thought that would bring home some of the things that we are learning and dealing with in these days because a lot of us did not know, and I'm not saying a lot of us because I definitely did. I've studied the Middle East extensively, but a lot of Americans just really don't understand anything about geography, and we are learning because America is in three different situations where we need to be learning and paying attention to some of the things that are going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have definitely got a lot to talk about today. I want to make today's show, and I thought long and hard about what we need to be doing as a community inside of all these different scenarios. And a lot of you have heard me say there are so many things converging at once. It is going to be absolutely impossible for us to come out of this unscathed. And I'm not just talking about us as America, I'm talking about us as a community, us as in, as it relates to our households and some of the things that we are going to need to do to create a new story for ourselves in what we need, which is a decentralized civilization. And so there's a lot of prepping that we need to be doing right now. There's a lot of thinking that we need to be doing right now, not allowing others to think for us, but we need a new story in this decentralized civilization that we need to create. And I'm just going to say this because I'm watching those that are younger than me, maybe some in my age group, but most of those that are younger than me, and a lot of those that are coming up into the 18 years of age realization that they are going to be adults. And I'm watching a lot of them say, never again. And they are not just saying never again, they are saying we are not our grandparents. This is a new day and age. This is a new time. And this is the word for our new generations. And so, as we look at places like Harvard and Yale and Princeton, Georgetown, Stanford, and we're watching the pro Palestinian students at Cornell University calling for things like slit throats of Jewish students. We've got to understand that our world is in the mindset of our youth right now is about decentralization and not being controlled. And so as we move into that space with our future leaders, these individuals are our future leaders. They're our future leaders in government. There are future leaders in money. They are future leaders in corporations. And they are definitely future leaders in entertainment. And so we have had the last 5 years of what I have been sharing about this globalist centralization, this military industrial complex. And Western civilization, in my opinion, all around money and corporations and government and entertainment as well, is in dire need of a reset. Now, not the kind of reset that some of the globalist billionaires and cohorts are actually currently trying to work on, but a restructuring and a new story for decentralized civilization. And that has a lot to do with cryptocurrency. And so when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump into a conversation, not just about what we need to be paying attention to right now, but possibly what you need to be looking at in reference to investing to make sure that you are decentralized, that you have your funds in the right place. I have a report of a couple of other banks this week that will definitely be experiencing some catastrophic situations. I am going to continue to keep our community up to date on this banking crisis, on this commercial property crisis, and some of the things that are happening, because it is a big, huge case as to why we need to be involving ourselves in decentralized types of monetary systems. So when we come forward, we'll continue this conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, y'all. Yep. Everything wasn't right today, but I just decided, you know what, I'm going to jump on here and get this done anyway. But we are not backing down. We're going to make sure that our community is understanding what is going on. All right, all right. We are in our commercial, and our commercial typically lasts a couple of minutes, but we've been looking at daily job cuts. I've been reporting daily job cuts every single day. and just really watching some of the things that are happening in our world, and just making sure that we know if you are investing, how important it is to be decentralized right now. We're looking at a lot of cuts in medical, job cuts in medical. We're looking at a lot of job cuts as it relates to um, the travel industry. And all these things are important for you to watch as it relates to how you're investing. And so, why it doesn't quite phase us is because we're investing in things like Bitcoin and gold and making sure that we have access to our funds when we need them, not when somebody says that we can have them. And so, that's one of the things about decentralization. And I'm not going to expound today on the radio, but you get to hear it during the break, because that is what this is about. Really educating our community and making sure that you know what to do and how to do it, and really that you have the best information that you need moving forward. So we are going to get on into this story. All right, and today I'm headed to the mayor's mansion. Mayor Karen Bass is having an event today for Ambassador Diane Watson. I'm super excited about that today. So that's what we're doing, y'all. So I'm excited. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, a new story is being written. As you all know, we are 14 years into the white paper being written by Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudo anonymous person who created Bitcoin, persons. We don't know exactly who that is. And a story is being written, and a very exciting story at that. I have been elated from day one when I finally got an epiphany to understand what Bitcoin is and how it can rewrite our future in this country, in this world. And I've been ecstatic about it, ladies and gentlemen. And so while that story is being written, again, only 14 years old, Western civilization has progressed through thousands of years of passing from generation to generation. Their ability to not only tell stories, but suppress our stories, ladies and gentlemen. Stories about fire and monsters in the desert and monsters coming over the ocean and rivers. Stories about money and gold, and stories about the real progress through science, art, and technology. From what we know, most of what we know, or most of what we are learning, have been our contributions, our community's contributions that have been suppressed, and the stories haven't really been told the way that they need to be. Um, but from the wheels to the global shipping and printing presses, and stories of ideas of freedom for humans, and really makes me really explore questions about why we continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Because, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, no matter how well you're doing, you need to improve your life. And I think the only way that we are going to be able to improve our lives is if we have our economics in place. Not economics that someone else has crafted for us, but economics by way of something that we control and that we take control of and that we maintain. And so now we have this new thing that is coming upon us. Again, all these different stories are being written. We got the Bitcoin story being written. We've got the blockchain story that's being written, which, ladies and gentlemen, is totally separate from the cryptocurrency story that is being written. We've got the genetic engineering that's popping up on the scene right now with quantum mechanics, and we've got nanotech that's happening. And please don't forget about AI. And the story that AI is writing is mind boggling, even to somebody like me that is already day, every day in a space that is trying to really figure out how we go and maneuver from here, because a lot of people are still on an old school path. And because they're on an old school path, talking about old school money and old school way things are being done, they are going to be lost in the sauce. Because right now, ladies and gentlemen, I am really making sure that we are clear that that quote that I talked about last week is real. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Because, ladies and gentlemen, AI is changing the game. It is changing the game for the way that people are investing in stocks. It is changing the game in the way that people are doing everything. AI is just incredible. You can have a whole video with somebody's mouth moving and they've not even been the one doing the video. So I have to make sure that we are cautioning ourselves as we look at some of the reports that are coming out, some of the videos that are going to be coming out during these elections, because most of what we see is going to be manufactured. And the only way that we are going to maintain our safety and our sanity is that we are controlling our economics. And we can only control our economics through decentralized mechanisms. So, all of these stories contain powerful ideas, and is in the midst of this new revolutionary cycle, this revolutionary mindset, and the new possibilities that are being brought up by our youth. And this is really incredible to see. And through these things called freedom and individual sovereignty and the new mindset that these individuals have about the way things need to be done and created in this advanced decentralized economy, this, in my opinion, is going to be the best thing that the world could ever see. Because our story, ladies and gentlemen, even if they want to suppress it in the state of Florida, right here in the state of California, where they've taken out just so many different things in different school districts that suppress our story. Our story is grand. Kings and queens, lots of riches and wealth and minerals and oils and all of these things. We have done a lot of hard work and exploration, and we've been very innovative. One of the things that I can say is what we are known for is going to church and having very strong family values. And I'm not sure that every American out there who has bragging rights about what this country originally was supposed to be, I'm going to say it that way, was filled with the work ethic and the kindness and the contributions that we have had in our community. And so our culture is still one that should be cherished and is very, very strong. And I believe that this is the right time, the pivotal time, to get involved in decentralized economies, which will help us continue to build a land of freedom for ourselves and help us write this new story that is being written. And if your story is not new and being written in a new way and in a new sense, you need to be rewriting your story, a story that's full of activists that are doing something to not just change the household, but to change the community. And again, we can't do any of these things if our finances are not in place. And because of the fact that we are in the midst of one of the biggest financial crises our country has ever seen, whether you believe so or not, it is important that we pay attention to worldviews, not just local views, but worldviews, and look at the human struggle that is happening everywhere, and what we see that is being caused by people being victims of other individuals, period. And we have been for years victims, unfortunately, of a systemic issue as it relates to money. And so one of the biggest failures and setbacks that we have seen is being involved and having to be involved in centralization and centralized decentralized finances, which is why central bank digital currencies is one of the worst things that is going to happen to our community if we embrace and go that way. And if we fall for that, ladies and gentlemen, like we've been falling for everything else, we are going to be the ones that are to blame. And I can't say that we are to blame in the past because we had no other options. But now that we have options, ladies and gentlemen, why do we keep falling for the okey doke and for what the oppressors are actually putting out? And everything that we look at right now, today, and I'm not just talking about the wars, I'm talking about the way the banking system is put in place, the way our work systems, our employment systems are put together. All of those things are created by oppressors. And I hate to tell you that our culture and Hollywood and corporations and governments and universities and the news media all capture and destroy our story in a certain way. And so decentralization right now is a must in all things, specifically as it relates to money. And so our currency right now is getting ready to be disrupted by the elites that are busy destroying anything that has to do with sovereignty. They do not want it. And so the next chapter, as I see it, is everybody trying to make sure that we are getting in alignment with WEF, WHO, which is WHO, IMF, the UN, and the BIS. Those are the organizations that are really seeking to control the dollar, the money, everything around money. And that's going to stem to the energy and the natural resources. And it's so many different things that follow the money. And you got to watch the money in order to understand what is going on. And their centralization agenda is set to take place in 2030. Now, at first, you think that's a long time away. And I've been saying 5 to 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that we're learning right now, what we do today affects the next 5 to 10 years. And so that is their year, 2030. And that is, there's another word for or phrase for what their agenda is for 2030, and it's called the Great Reset. So if you want to start doing some research and you want to start learning about what is happening, this Great Reset is about one world, one government, one currency. And I don't know that they're ever going to come to that, but they're pushing a new story, and it's happening on our watch, ladies and gentlemen. And this, in my opinion, is one of the last stories that is being written. And our story is going to be one of surprise. I think that our community is going to be caught off guard because what we have taken as most important is not the most important thing. It has got to be economics. It's got to be, because if we don't have our economics in place, we don't have any options. And it's going to be a real slugfest out here. But you know what? I know that it's not too late. And even as I report today, the price of Bitcoin, it is not too late. We can write our own story, and it has nothing to do with anybody else's ideology or their thoughts about us. Because frankly, I'm in a position, in a really exciting position, where I don't care what they think. And there's telltale signs everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, that other people are writing their new futures and their new history. And I've talked about it over and over again, but I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this parallel economy that they've got going in this country is blossoming more than anybody wants to give them credit for. And it is going to affect us because this new parallel economy, we are in their agenda. We're on their agenda. You know how you go to a meeting and there's an agenda of things to talk about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Black folks in America are on the agenda of the parallel economy. And you need to wake up and start paying attention to that. So, what are we doing in our community to make sure that we're circumventing being involved in the mess that they're putting together with the parallel economy, along with several other things that are going on? that are happening in several other agendas. Anything, are we doing anything as it relates to new schools, new media, new platforms, new merchandise, and some of the things that these new tech platforms offer as it relates to uncensored platforms that are growing in popularity? And I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of things that are going on that help people totally bypass this centralized way that things have been done. And again, we cannot do the same thing day in, day out with our lives, with our money, with our jobs, with our families, expecting different results. More freedom loving Americans are now getting their news and content from things like KBLA Talk 1580, from podcasts, from platforms like Rumble and Substack. And so this last week, I was doing a little bit of research, and I'm just going to tell you all this research about this parallel economy and what these three-letter organizations are looking to do as far as one world, one government. Just centralization is mind-boggling. But what I am seeing is this a couple of weeks ago, this Alliance for Responsible Citizens actually held its first forum, establishing an international community with a vision for a better world and a better story. And so I was reading and looking on their page and seeing what they were actually talking about. And again, it's all about telling a story. And so when I'm talking to you about the story of making sure that your economics are in a decentralized manner, or that you're thinking of are beginning to move in a decentralized manner, it is absolutely important, because the stories that we tell ourselves and human beings, we have always been great storytellers. And I think the only way that our community is going to grasp and embrace this thing called digital currency, this thing called cryptocurrency, this thing called decentralization, is really taking in the stories and showing how these stories are going to immensely help us get our power back, or maintain our power, and shape our world, and shape the world around us, the community around us, for better or for worse. We have got to do something different, and we've got to share our stories about our values and how these golden threads, and I'm not just talking about gold, but we do call Bitcoin the digital gold. And we do and have been talking to or ascribing to the fact that we need to have gold, which is another decentralized form of currency. It's going to bind our families together. It's going to bind our communities and nations together. And it is going to help us up and down in the next generations. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward after news, sports, and traffic, we'll continue the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on my break. And so I can tell you all about the job cuts. Let's talk about the job cuts, because I can't talk about it on the radio like that. But if you are investing, and again, I'm not providing any investment advice at all, but if you are paying attention, ladies and gentlemen, to the job losses and the things, it'll help give you a little bit of um, a forward thinking vision as to what you need to be investing in and what you need to be looking at. And so, as we've been talking about, China owns almost 90% of the the different types of antibiotics that are needed in our country. I'm going to say the elements that are needed to create the antibiotics in our country. The United States has allowed everything to be imported. And so, since China owns that, I've been talking to the community about making sure that you're stocking up on things, because we don't know what the supply chain issue is going to be as we continue to embark upon all these different wars. And so, as I'm looking at all of the layoffs and the different things that are happening in the job markets, I'm seeing a lot of things that are being affected in the healthcare industry. And so we've got American Medical Response. And I'm just going to read through a list that will allow you all to see that there is something on the horizon that nobody's talking about. So you've got American Medical Response that's laying off people. You've got CVS Pharmacy that's laying off people. You've got Pfizer is laying off people. You've got and a lot of people might argue that this is because they were overstaffed during COVID, and they needed people to take or have all these testing sites and all these different medical labs and all of these things. But ladies and gentlemen, we just uncovered this last week, or it was the week before last, some Chinese labs that were right here in the United States where they were experimenting with different forms of COVID, different things that some of these mosquitoes are carrying. I mean, this is just surprising to me that there's so many layoffs happening in the medical sector. But not only that, ladies and gentlemen, I see that Citigroup is having some issues. I see that Citizen Bank is having some issues. And there are just a lot of different things that nobody's sharing with us in mainstream media that help us really realize that we may be in a situation where we need to be watching what is happening, because some of the people that are getting laid off, yes, are collateral damage. And so some people may say, well, you talk about the banking industry and saying there's going to be a lot of damage. And how do you think it's going to affect us? Well, first and foremost, a lot of people that hadn't been paying their mortgages, those mortgages and those mortgage payments became due and payable this month, November 2023. They haven't paid their mortgages since 2020. So there's going to be some issues there. Last month, October, people started paying their student loans again. So a lot of people have been living life without having to pay a lot of the necessities that they need to pay. And now that things are tightening up and people have to pay student loans, people have to pay for their mortgages again, housing moratoriums are over. We're going to start to see just how bad the economy is doing. And so you've got to pay attention to all of these things when you're looking at your next move for investing. And again, I'm not a financial advisor anymore on purpose, telling you what you need to invest in, but decentralization is the way that you have got to go, ladies and gentlemen. There are no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You have got to take your money into your own hands. And the only way you're going to be able to do it is with decentralized platforms. And I am not saying that you should be investing in things like Bitcoin and leaving them on the exchanges for them to handle. You're just basically doing what you're doing right now at the banks, giving the banks your money and allowing them to invest it in things like commercial real estate, which is about to be a big problem and a big issue. And they do not have all of the monies that you deposited because they've been doing what they want to do with your money and really making bad investments. And so you got to watch these things. And that's why a lot of these banks are going belly up, because they haven't been doing the proper things with the funds that are being deposited, or they were doing the proper things, but those things have not turned back an investment like they would traditionally do. So when we're looking at job losses and when we're looking at the banking industry and the commercial real estate industry and the housing industry, we've got to be very careful these days in what we invest in, and decentralization is the way. And so as I go back into my radio show today, I just want you to know it is time for you to do 4 asset classes. I'm suggesting, because this is what I do. You got your digital asset class, you've got your hard asset class, you've got your legacy asset classes that you all need to be paying attention to. The 401ks, your annuities, your insurance, that's something you need to take care of. And then your bail assets, which are those assets that nobody can touch. And that's based on how you're structuring it. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am back on right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome forward, welcome forward. So as we continue on ahead of the crypto curve, we are jumping into the prices of cryptocurrency right now. And again, when Bitcoin begins to go up, everybody is teaching, everybody is talking, everybody wants to get involved. And so I want to make sure that we are clear. We are not basing what we're doing as far as decentralization in this thing called the cryptocurrency space based on hype or anything about like that. We are basing what we are doing and investing in, or what I'm doing or investing in, investing in this cryptocurrency space based on need, the need to make sure that we are safe in these times that we have and don't understand exactly what is going on. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen today for that fact. And in fact, we've gotten a lot of warnings and different individuals that are saying that our money is losing value, that a lot of the things that we've been investing in will soon be losing value because there's a lot of different things going on that we have no control over. But what we can control is the money that we hold in our decentralized systems. And so, again, while I'm not a financial advisor on purpose anymore, I am sharing with each and every one of our um, constituents and those that are really trying to get their house in order, that now is the time. Now, again, the price of Bitcoin has gone up, and all the people who want to jump in for the monetary reasons are jumping in. But I am telling you, we are long gaming this thing called Bitcoin. We are in the long game for this thing called decentralization. It is not about right now. It's not about right here. It is not about getting rich quick. It is not about any of that. And for anyone who is coming to you in that space with that mindset, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for you not just to check them, but to check yourself. We cannot continue along that route because that's not what this thing, this movement is about. Bitcoin is about more than just a currency, ladies and gentlemen. It is about a movement to control your destiny. And so, as we look at Bitcoin, I want to continue to say that we are still early. Even though you think you're late, we are still early. And I'm looking right now at the fear and greed index for cryptocurrency as a whole. And I am seeing a couple of different things. I'm seeing that we're now in the greed. We're actually almost in extreme greed. And I hate to say it that way because a lot of people don't really understand the fear and greed index. But the fear and greed index really indicates sentiments of investors. And so, in the cryptocurrency space, for the very longest, the last couple of months, we've been in the fear because people were afraid to invest in Bitcoin and any other cryptocurrency. And it all has to do with bad actors like Sam Bankman Fried giving the industry what a lot of people feel is a black eye, but it's absolutely not a black eye because we've been preaching since we started, ladies and gentlemen. Decentralization in this space is the only way to go. So if you're going to buy anything in the cryptocurrency space, you need to make sure that it is not being held on a platform. I don't care what platform you like. Are they teaching you to buy it from them and take it off of their platform and put it into your wallet? The answer is absolutely no, because they know that you have been primely conditioned to do the same thing that the banks do. Bring your money to us so we can invest it for us and give you nothing in return. And that is exactly what cryptocurrency exchanges do, other than my exchange and maybe one or two other ones. When you buy Bitcoin with us, we give you your Bitcoin. We teach you how to be self-sovereign from day one. And what bank do you know that teaches you how to be self-sovereign? They don't. They just give you a little bit of interest here. And I really feel like it's a carrot to keep you coming back. And I don't know if you enjoy getting 0.0025%, which is nothing. I don't know what else to say for you, but I know in this cryptocurrency space, you don't get anything other than what your actual coin has done by way of going up and down in the market, just to say it simply, because they're not giving you anything back either unless you're staking your currency, and staking your Bitcoin and Ethereum on platforms is something that I wouldn't suggest either, which makes it really hard for you to do anything safe in this space except buy it and hold it on your own. Get a hard wallet, a cold wallet, whatever you want to call it, something like a ledger or a trezor, and get your money off the exchanges, ladies and gentlemen, especially right now since the price of Bitcoin is raising and the fear and greed index says that everybody is on the greedy. They're coming into the cryptocurrency space. And that typically happens when the price goes up because unfortunately, people like to buy when the price is high. And I was begging you all just several months ago to get involved when we were around 17, 15, 12. And people were like, oh my God, are you sure you want to keep talking about this thing called Bitcoin? Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a convergence of so many different things, so many different unknowns that are happening at one time. We've got to get ourselves involved in something that is going to do something different for us in our community. So right now, today, Bitcoin is at 37,096. It is down in the last hour 0.21%. In the last 24 hours, it is down 0.16%. In the last 7 days, it is up 5.89%. Am I excited about $37,000? People might ask. The answer is absolutely not, because I was hoping that we could bring more people to their senses before Bitcoin goes on a bull run. And it is thought that Bitcoin is going to hit 40. And then once it hits 40, and once the Bitcoin halving happens at the beginning of 2024, which means supply is going to be cut, it is going to continue to go in an upward trajectory, which historically has happened alongside the fact that we're involved in all these wars, and we've got this inflation happening, and a whole nother group of individuals that are seeking to devalue the dollar. Like all of these things coming together at once is more of an argument for you, ladies and gentlemen, to think about adding Bitcoin to your portfolio. Again, not investment advice. It is just something that you need to take a look at. Look at adding Bitcoin specifically to your portfolio. Now, some people might want to ask about Ethereum. Ethereum right now is at $2,047, and it is down in the last hour 30.37%. It's down in the last 24 hours 1.44%, and in the last 8 days it's up 8.18%. So a lot of cryptocurrencies are now following the same trajectory as Bitcoin, and it's going up. But a lot of platforms, ladies and gentlemen, are experiencing hackers, because now is the time. You've got your guards down, you're learning, you're not doing what you need to do to secure and take control of your own digital assets. And I've just read a story this morning about a platform that was hacked, and we're going to talk about it when we come forward, because this is the cryptocurrency space and it's new, and they are expecting you not to be on top of your game. But if you're self-sovereign and have your own wallets, you will do well in this space. When we come forward, this is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump in to this. All right, I got about 3 minutes to wrap up. This is nearing the end of my show today. All right, so we're going to talk about remaining sovereign and free and some of the things that you can do. I'm just going to keep pulling it, just making sure that we all know. It's just too much stuff going on for you to leave your cryptocurrency on these platforms. I don't know why people continue to do it, but this is something else. You guys have got to move your cryptocurrency off these platforms. So I'm going to talk about that really quickly, and then I'm going to jump into what we need to be doing as a community. Justin Sun, Poloniex. So we've got we got a problem with Poloniex. Just a lot of things we have got to really, 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 really go on. All right, I'm back up in just about 30 seconds on the radio. Thank you for your patience. I know that I don't want to run their commercials on my show, but um, I want you all to know that you can definitely tune in to KBLA Talk 1580. You can actually go to KBLA1580.com and listen to my past shows. I'm excited about giving the community the information that we really need. No sugarcoating, straight, no chasers. So I got to really figure out what we're going to do because a lot of my material gets taken down off YouTube and stuff like that. So we're just giving it a little bit at a time, but I'm excited about it. Excited, excited, excited about it. All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. And so there's a couple of things that you need to know about several exchanges. And I know a lot of you reach out to me about buying Bitcoin. We're a Bitcoin only platform. Absolutely, that's all we do. But these exchanges, ladies and gentlemen, that are selling you your cryptocurrencies and you're leaving it on the exchanges, it's terrible. Just last month, Hobie, Huobi, however you say it, Huobi, they lost $8 million worth of Ethereum due to a hack. And within the last 24 hours, Poloniex has lost over $100 million to hackers. Hackers are getting inside of these systems. And so a lot of people are asking, like, are these inside jobs? And I told you all long time ago, and I've been saying it over and over and over again. You have disgruntled employees. You have people that are sitting back, laying and waiting for flaws in systems. And they know these hackers are getting better and better, and AI is giving them the ability to do a little bit more than they used to do. So why not buy your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or whatever else you're buying and hold it yourself? Why leave yourself subjected to these exchanges? I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, Binance is about to have some liquidity issues. And if they have a liquidity issue and you're on Binance, I would suggest you, if you have a liquidity, they have a liquidity issue. If you have assets on Binance, I would suggest you get them off. I don't do Coinbase at all because Coinbase is one of the worst platforms, in my opinion, out there. And so I don't suggest you be on there. So what do? You buy from somebody and put it in your own wallet. And so that's what needs to happen. I'm looking at the cryptocurrency space right now, and the numbers are growing in the amount of individuals that are starting to invest again in the cryptocurrency space. And so the market cap right now in the cryptocurrency space is at 1.49 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at 1.5 trillion. And that's almost back to where we were. I want to say at the end of December of 2022, we had a pretty good market cap, but people started getting afraid of the space because of all the wrongdoers. And again, consumer education is the best consumer protection. And the consumer protection I am giving you right now is sharing with you that you have got to take control of your finances. And cryptocurrency is one of the ways to do it, but you have to hold it yourself. And so as we look into this space, again, there are several different things that I do to help you all, like a ledger and me 123. For those of you who need to learn how to set up a ledger, I'm going to be reaching out to a platform that I've been watching that helps you have a multi-signature wallet, a multi-sig wallet, which means in the event that somebody gets a hold of your words or something like that, that they have 2 or 3 stops that take place that would prevent them from draining your wallet dry. And there's a lot of different things that you can do. But again, it's about self sovereignty. You've got to control it and allow no one else to control it. Not your keys, not your coin. And even though Justin's son says he's going to pay people back for what they've lost, we don't know that that's going to be true. A lot of us, and I'm helping a lot of people these days file documents for companies that have filed bankruptcy to try to keep people's Bitcoin. Bitcoin back. And that is because, again, when you buy, you have been told, and I've said it over and over again, buy it from wherever you wish, but make sure that you're putting it into your wallet and only invest only what you can afford to lose. And I don't think any of us have time or can afford to lose anything. But let me say this really quickly as we talk about remaining sovereign and free, ladies and gentlemen. You got to pay attention to what's going on, not just in the community, but in the macro. The global elites are really moving fast. And if we're moving slow, trying to figure out if we really need to get involved in this, we are needing to understand that they're not going to let any good crisis go to waste. They're going to take every step that they can to make these crises that are happening. They're going to usher in things that are going to put more control on our finances and the way we live and what we do. And so in preparation for this, you need to not just survive, ladies and gentlemen, you need to thrive. So here's what I say you need to do. You need to get involved locally. You need to reach out to your state legislators and let them know how you feel about their proposed legislation that limits your freedom in any type of way. I don't care what it is. You need to start attending these city council meetings, and even better, for those of you who want to, you need to run for office, because you can see that just about anybody can win an election if you've been paying attention. But you need to speak out. And I say, a lot of us need to lose our fear. I'm looking around our community and I'm wondering why nobody is talking about the things that I'm talking about. And it's because they're fearful. We got to lose our fear, ladies and gentlemen. It's better than losing your country. It's better than losing your freedom. And I don't care about the cocktail parties and the soccer games and the fashion shows and all the stuff that they utilize or that have been utilized or that even we do to dumb us down or make us numb to what is happening. We need to really start to speak out about the things. And I'm really proud of some of our youth that are really saying no more. We are not our grandparents. No more. It's not happening on my watch. I'm one of those because I'm just not doing it anymore. But I'm going to do it peacefully. I'm going to talk about the things that I want to talk about. And I'm hoping that you're starting to really take heed to some of the things that I've been telling you were going to happen. And now they're starting to happen. Or you'll end up being you'll just end up being one of the, I'm going to call it a pawn, because I tell you all the time, we're playing chess, not checkers. But don't be a pawn in the same respect. We need to have financial preservation. And again, I strongly recommend, although I'm not a financial advisor, Bitcoin specifically, but I always talk about getting yourself some gold and some silver. And I'm proud to tell you this week, I was finally allowed the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to sell our community gold backs. These are actual gold laced increments of funds. I'm just so excited about this because a lot of people were asking Najah, if we buy gold, how do we take it to the store? How do we break up a $2,000 coin if all we need is bread? Well, guess what? Gold backs are here. Gold backs are being utilized right here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, and they're just gold laced dollars. And it's just incredible. And I just got approved this week after a long fight. And I'm going to tell y'all, it was a long fight, but we have them and they are available. So holler at your girl, I'll hook you up. But anyway, as the dollar, if the dollar collapses, because of the fact that we're in this period of hyperinflation, precious metals and Bitcoin will only rise in value. That's the story. That's the history. Things that are scarce are going to do better. Supply versus demand, not printing of money. That is not going to help us in this case. Make sure you have some cash on hand, and you need to make sure that you stay healthy. As this battle picks up, ladies and gentlemen, it's imperative that you have your health, your mind, your body in order, because your health is one of the greatest parts of your wealth, and your personal necessities. You need to have personal necessities during this time. I'm stocking up on food and water. I've been telling you all for the longest, this is something that you're going to need to do. I've also been telling folks that in the next 5 to 10 years, I don't feel like we're going to be able to live comfortably in this country, but it's coming quicker than I thought. And so I suggest that that you all have some sort of place that you can go, and you start planning. And even if it's just a wild imagination or something in your wildest imagination, your wildest thought, what you think about becomes things, and you're going to have to manifest more money to do more investing. You're going to have to manifest a place that you can go. And in the parallel economy, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know that it's a real thing, they're calling it a bug out house. Bug out. Someplace you can go bug out when this whole world goes crazy. So I'm planning ahead for any potential situations that can happen. You should be too. You need to have a medical kit on hand, ladies and gentlemen. And you need to make sure that you have oil and gas in storage, because guess what? Our reserves is, I don't even think we're 17 days away from our oil reserve being gone here in this country. But what do? You keep those vehicles filled up. We don't know what's going to happen, but just pre-buy it, pre-plan, pre-purchase your gas. Make sure that your cars are able to travel 100 miles, I don't know, at all times. Make sure you got some gas. Join a community that is really helping you understand what's happening in the economy, ladies and gentlemen, because time is of the essence. And when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap up with the final thought. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take it to the top. So we want to just make sure that we are really, really focused right now on self-preservation, on self-sovereignty, and all the things that we need to do in our community to ensure that we're doing well. And I don't take this lightly, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you is real. It is happening. Before, a couple of months ago, I was actually only speculating as to what we thought was going to happen because we were following the money. And now that we are in the thick of things, every single thing that I have been sharing with you is applicable right now in this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at the price of Bitcoin continue to rise, again, I'm not saying that it's going to go up further or that it's going to lose any type of value, because I don't know what it's going to do right now. But what we do know is that the times are calling for a better form of money. So when we come forward next week, we'll continue this conversation. Follow me on social media, and I'll be sharing all this week what you need to be doing. My name is Najah Roberts, and I am thanking you for rocking with me here on Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we're creating Satoshi millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Satoshi at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, and that means you.